Hi, I'm Kim Bourgeois Landry and welcome to the Wonky Quilter. It has been more than 2 weeks since I've been here last, and summertime is busy time. I don't know what else to say. We've traveled to see our grandbabies. Our grandbabies have traveled to see us, and my husband and I have had an opportunity to go to the lake that's pretty near to our home. Well, like 3 hours and 20 minutes. 5 hours if you have a wife who has to flea market and antique shop and stop at every garage sale. Even though it grates my husband's nerves. He knows once he gets to the lake, if I've gotten to do a little shopping, I will kind of leave him alone to fish so I can play with my treasures. So I want to set a tone this go round about time. I'm going to set a tone. You see this right here? This is an apron that I bought from an estate sale about four years ago. It's heavy muslin and it's all hand stitched. It looks like something a whole group of probably women had. Beautiful, beautiful stitching on it, but right here it says a stitch in time. So I want to set a tone for time. Since I am a collector of vintage tops, I also collect modern made tops every once in a while if I just can't live without them. This is one of them. I want to show you this. The time stamp I want to set is the 80s right now, okay? The 80s. That's like when I graduated high school in the early 80s, and I got married in the 80s, and I had my baby in the 80s. The 80s were good, you know. I bought this off of eBay. I very seldom, I've bought 2 quilt tops off of eBay. Maybe three. But I try not to do that because I feel like my superpower is rescuing vintage tops that nobody is loving anymore. And if somebody's selling one on eBay, somebody already has rescued it. They may be trying to find their new owner, but it's not just wasting away. I just try not to. However, when I saw this thing, it reminded me of the 80s. I mean, and when I got it in, I'm so thrilled with it. It's set on point. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And I don't know how the lighting is. I feel like the color is very bright. It's very well done. Okay, like this doesn't match exactly, but that is so good enough for me. Even this, I just couldn't get over what it was. It's not nautical. It feels New England. It feels the 80s to me. It makes me want to find a pair of oxblood penny loafers again, and a pair of stovepipe jeans with a like 2 or 3 inch cuff on the bottom, and a really long hanging purse that's shaped, oh, what were they called? Shaped in a U, like a Dooney and Burke bag, and really kind of yuppie, I guess, huh? Is what I'm thinking. Barrettes with chains on them, because I'm interested in chains again now too. Look at this. I've been buying old pieces of chains from old purses to make actual keychains out of. And this quilt that came to me from eBay, look at that gorgeous thing. Reminds me of that vibe, I tell you. It reminds me of that vibe, which got me to thinking, as we were going to the beach, I just love it. I just love it. Love it, love it. As we were going to the beach, we stopped in a little village, called Glenmora. It's about, I don't know, 2.5 hours from here. I stop there about twice a year. because it's far from home and it's out of the way of the lake, and it's a drama to get myself there. But my husband just has to, every once in a while, has to give in to me, so I don't hang a lip the whole weekend, okay? Well, this one little there are a couple of places I've found some really nice quilt tops. However, this one place I went into, the lady always remembers me. I think it's because I have this bald head thing going on. There aren't many bald heads like this walking around. She knows what I shop for and everything. She said, oh, look what I have over here. And stacked up a big stack from the floor, stacked up quilt books. Quilt books. There were like over 50 of them. Like, I'm not exaggerating, over 50. I bought 15. But I sat on the floor. My husband went outside. He walked the dog. He went and got a treat. He shopped in all the other stores. I sat on the floor and went through over 50 quilting books, because this was like, okay, if I don't think that I will ever make this, if I think it will always be above my talent grade, if it is just out of the whatever, I don't buy it. It doesn't matter how cheap it is. I'm going to show you some of these books, okay? I know I'm probably, oops, sorry, I shook the phone. So excited. What I want to say again about the 80s, this really reminds me, it has the same vibe. Maybe it won't you. I don't know the name of this block. I've been looking through the Brackman book. I cannot find it. I will. I know it's in there. I just don't know what it is. This reminds me of how I felt this block in the 80s. This was my vibe. It's very, it just occurred to me. You know who this is? This is very Ralph Lauren. Very turtleneck, stovepipe jeans, penny loafers, long, hip, under the hip hanging bag, hair in a leather headband, little bob, so cute. So I came out with all of these books that are also probably very many of them from the 80s. I want to say to you, just because the front of it looks maybe outdated, fonts change, the way we put things together, what looks like just a hip book cover today, don't just look over these things. A lot of the information does not change. I'm not saying that people aren't coming up with new blocks and new techniques and new machines that do new things. And yes, all of that is happening. But the basics are the basics. Do you know what I'm saying? 4-block quilts. This is right up my alley. Okay? There's a vintageness and kind of a folkiness about a 4-block quilt that's pretty groovy. I actually have some fabric that's already sewn into 4 big blocks. Vintage fabrics. I'll show y'all those another time. This book was 50 cents. Do you see that? 50 cents. It's full of patterns that have not been used. I mean, I don't want to really show them for too long. I don't want to. Look at this. I don't care if this is from the 80s or not. This is by Terry Cloutier Thompson. I'm trying to look, first edition printing. How can it not say the date? Okay, I can't find it. Anyway, so I wanted this one, 4-block quilts. I had to have it. Look at this, Hawaiian quilting. I mean, instructions for full-size patterns for 20 blocks. Again, that was a 50-cent book. Now, it's not very big, but I don't think it has to be very big. Everything is in here. It has not been used yet. Will I ever use it? I don't know. But if I ever decide to do it, I know that I have one good book. Look, Best Loved Quilt Patterns, 50 cents. Full of instructions. This is a really large, whoever books these were, they really took care of them. They don't have a smell. They don't smell like smoke. They don't smell like dust. Let's see, I should have looked for the dates before. This one's from 2002, so it's not that old. 50 cents, what a deal. I mean, look behind me. Do you know that I'm into folk art? Folk art quilts. This is by Ann Hulbert, a historical consultant, and historical consultant Sheila Betterson. 20 unique designs from American Museum in Britain. Now, it's called folk art quilts, but man, these look so fancy to me. Maybe the definition of folk art has changed a little. Again, this was a 50-cent book. So that's 4 right there. Successful machine quilting. Hello. I just started using a machine in October. It is July. Mama needs this book. This one was $1.50. I went ahead and paid for it. This was like, you know, that was the cost of a, you know, soft drink. That's the cost of a soft drink. What are you gonna do? So, really nice directions in here. Just lovely. I already, looking at this book, have already given a friend of mine who is a Longarm Quilter, I called and gave her a tip that she kind of, I don't know how, but I knew that she had a question about a certain kind of batting. It was a batting question, let's just put it that way. And I found the answer to that, and I sent her a picture of it, and it answered her question. So how amazing is that? Simply Scrappy, 50 cents. Gotta love it. Nancy Martin. Stack and wackier. I mean, Bethany Reynolds. My guild has done stack and whack classes. I've seen things all over in magazines and everything. I have no idea what stack and whack is. I have always had a conflict with the date when the guild that I'm in, or when local quilt shops do it. I always have had, it's like, I think I need to know how to stack and whack. So I gotta have a book. America's Greatest Quilting Projects. It's hand quilting. Had to have it. I'm a hand quilter, even though I'm learning how to machine quilt. Look, Quilt Mavens. That's what I want to be, a quilt maven. By Deb Karasik and Janet Mednick. Look at that. 50 cents with a CD. Okay, I don't have the CD. That's okay. That is really okay. I mean, some really stunning things in here. This is probably always going to be above my skill level. I mean, I don't want to be talking myself down, but there's some gorgeous things in this book. So glad. This one also was $1.50. Picture Piecing Traditional Quilts by Cynthia England. This one also was $1.50. I'm pretty sure this is out of my league. It even feels out of my league. That's a heavy book. But, oh, and it's signed. Look at the inside cover. I might have to lend these to a couple of friends. Rich Traditions, 50 cents. Nope, that one was $1.50. Baby quilts. I don't know. I don't even really want to do a baby quilt, but I have a book if ever I have to do one. I was very interested in this one. Was $1.52. Look at that, how pretty. Machine pieced quilts. Masterful. I'm all interested in becoming masterful. Jean Biddick. Really, some beautiful, beautiful things. Beautiful patterns. My goodness gracious. Make it simpler. I need that too. This one was $1.50. Okay, so these must have been for two different, these were from two different owners, I have a feeling. They have different initials on them. Make it simple, paper piecing. I am signed up for an English paper piecing class at Houston Festival 2019 coming up shortly. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Anita Grossman Solomon. Yep, I needed that. Last one. And I'm going to tell you, I've looked at this book a lot. I shouldn't say read, because that would, when you read something, you start from the beginning and go to the end, and I kind of haven't worked with it that way. Great patchwork, stars and stripes. Now, am I interested in the red, white, and blue motif? I am not. Like, I'm not interested in collecting them or really making them. I mean, I'm interested in red, white, and blue as an American, but I'm going to tell you, this has the most amazing, full-on, well-done patterns. Beautiful patterns. And their layouts for their directions. I mean, I looked at this hard because I really was saying, you know, do you want to buy something that you're not going to use? The directions and everything are really well laid out. And it's a nice hardback book. Better Homes and Gardens. I mean, you know, what are you going to do? Beautiful. That was 15 books. They weren't all 50 cents, and they weren't all $1.50. So I would say I spent about, you know, I would say $20. And I think I'm showing y'all things all the time. I don't want y'all to think I'm not a wealthy woman. I'm a woman on a budget. I do buy things. I'm like a $20 purchase person. You know, if I don't see something that I think I might use or that will advance the knowledge in my brain, whether I use it or not, you know, knowledge is a thing. You don't actually have to always use it. Just having your head full of knowledge, like remaining, if you remain a learning, interested person, that's life. I mean, that's living, you know. So I picked out of the 50 plus books, I sat for an hour looking at books, and I picked out these 15 that I thought would actually end up under a sewing machine, under a needle and thread for me, or inside my brain. And if it could fit into any of those three things, it was for me, and I got those books. I was thrilled. My husband fished. He kept saying, "Do you want? Come on, Kim, come fishing with me. Let's cut." And I was like, "I have reading to do." I did go out a couple times and brought a couple books with me, but you know, I remained in the air conditioner quite a bit at the time with all of my books. So don't pass up books like this that are your mom's or your grandmother's or that you already own. Look through them again, because I have a feeling you can come up, if what you're interested in even now is modern improv stuff, there is still information in here. Honestly, it's inspiration. It's inspirational. And I think a lot of the stuff from the 80s is making a comeback. And I'm going to tell you, I have on my new little lavender silky feeling t-shirt, and I put this little scarf with it that's not a scarf. And it's not quilting material either. This is a ruffle off of a sundress that I wore in the 80s. Okay? Cut it apart for my grandchildren. Look, it's like see-through. Oh, okay, I don't know if you could see through it, but it's see-through. And I am wearing this with lavender, and it looks really beautiful. However, it has no lavender in it. Okay, that looks lavender. Dang, it's not. I don't know how to tell you that the leaves are green. I don't know why they're all showing. But take apart some stuff that you've been keeping in the back of your closet, even if you can't quilt with it. I've just dyed some really minuscule little cotton elastic, and I'm going to sew it into this. This is the ruffle off of the skirt. It's two ruffles, actually, off the bottom of the skirt. I had to cut off for my grandchildren to actually play with the dress and made a little costume out of it. And I'm going to just sew this full of elastic and turn it into a scarf, do you know, for the fall or the spring. And this was from the 80s, do you know, so I guess I wanted to show you that too. I'm on an 80s kind of groove. I don't know. I might have to go out and buy myself a pair of penny loafers or something. You know, I don't know. But do not overlook the books in the flea markets. Very often, or Goodwill, Salvation Army, when somebody brings in a quilting book, you know, if you're a quilter, you're like me. We buy lots of things. So when things are given up, they're given up in chunks. So like this person who sold her 50-something books, and I was able to get 15, probably 3 or 4 other people bought 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever, you know, of those books. Look for them. They're out there, and a lot of the knowledge hasn't changed. You can still be picking up new techniques, and I like to buy a new book every now and again myself, you know, I really do. But I just wanted to share for what I got for $20, which is less than 1 book, what I got, and from many different teachers. So I'm going to enjoy. Hey, listen, go to my YouTube page, The Wonky Quilter, or Kim Bourgeois Landry, and subscribe, like, and share. Let me know what you'd like to hear about, and I hope you'll come back and visit me again soon. I will be getting back a featherweight is being repaired right now. Serviced. I found a good deal on one. I've been looking a long time, saving my pennies, putting them in my sock drawer, putting my little dollars in my sock drawer, and I found a featherweight, but it needed to be serviced, and I'll be getting back in the next couple of weeks, and I'll have, like, I thought I would name it Leanne, which is my mama's name. But she's kind of looked, when I got her, she sort of looked like a Rita Mae, which was my little Cajun grandmother's name. So I'm unsure what I'll name her, but maybe y'all can help me. And I'm going to be anxious to learn how to use her and to share that discovery with y'all. So come back and see me. Please come back. It's going to be so fun. Okay. Talk to y'all later. Bye.